rodeo fans. Happy New Year and welcome back to the Short Round Podcast, the official podcast of the Canadian Professional Rodeo Association. I am your host, Wacey Anderson, and I am stoked to kick off the 2024 season with a great show here for you all. So it's safe to say we hit the dog days of winter between the new year, the start of the rodeo season. Everybody's sad. The NFR is over. There's not much going on. But we did have our second event of the rodeo season here over New Year's Eve weekend in Oyen with their Happy Bucking New Year bull riding event. So with that, let's jump into a recap of the results. So young gun Bo Gardner emerges the victor after an 89-point ride in the short round aboard Legends Rodeo stock Night Stalker to pick up his first ever win at the Pro Rodeo Canada levels. So I'm going to go out and say you got to watch out for Bo in 2024. He's a hot shot rookie and he's going to be making some noise down the trail next year. So nice work, Bo. Way to kick off your new year in style. And rounding out your top five in Oyen was Garrett Green, Chad Hartman, William Barrows, and Aussie Callum Miller. So congrats to all those guys for picking up a check at the New Year's Eve bull riding. So that about wraps up the news you can use. So let's start this week's interview with the one and only Zeke Thurston. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the other side. Welcome back to the Short Round Podcast. This week, I am excited to welcome four-time Canadian champion and now four-time world champion saddle bronc rider Zeke Thurston. Happy New Year, Zeke, or should I say Zeke the Freak? Thanks for taking some time to chat with me today, man. How's things going?
Hey, thank you. Yeah, happy New Year to you too. Things are good, dude. Yeah, like you said, just coming off a coming off a pretty big fall here, and had a great Christmas, and life's good.
Can't beat it. Well, I want to first thing I want to ask is that clip from the finals with you and Dawson at the back number ceremony. That was one of my favorite pieces of content that come from it when you guys were talking about that. So where is Zeke the Freak? Is that what they call you behind the chutes heading down the road or what?
No, nobody calls me that. We were just walking by. We actually go to the bathroom. They just grabbed us, said, "Hey, can you give us a couple fit checks?" And we just acted like complete dummies. Didn't think they were going to use it, but they did. So
Oh, that's what they get you, those people. You should know by
people
now.
liked it though.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
man, it's so funny. I loved it.
Yeah.
So like I said, you're coming off, or like you said, you're coming off another huge season. You're the undisputed champion of the saddle bronc riding world. And how's it feel, man? You had two really great seasons, 22, 23, and just kind of dominated the field. How's it feel?
Yeah, it feels really good. It's it's pretty, that's a big deal anytime you can win a world title or a Canadian title. And those are things that don't happen, maybe one time in your life or your
Mm-hmm.
career. A lot of guys don't ever get to experience that. And to kind of clean sweep at both sides of the border, and to have four buckles, that's incredible. There's a lot of people that win one, some people win two, not very many win more than two. And so to have four, that's a huge honor.
Well, and even the amount of people that make the finals that don't win too, right? There's so many guys on both sides of the border that go their whole careers and maybe knock on the door, but never get that chance to win.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And there's a lot that goes into it. You could be the very best, but you gotta draw well. And it's kind of anybody's game. You get out there to the finals, somebody gets hot and gets on a roll. There's so much money to be won. They can, like last year, I come in 116,000 back and caught them. So it's just you got to put a whole season together, but you gotta go there and ride every horse that they draw
Mm-hmm.
you the best you can at the finals. And even then, it's still out of your control. So it's fun. It's a lot of fun trying.
So what's changed for you, like outside of the arena, like and how you prepare for a season in the past two seasons to kind of elevate you to that undisputed champ level?
Man, not a lot other than like I we seem to add a kid or two to the family every couple of years and stuff.
Some
But
motivation right there.
um yeah. And I just it's one of them things, I've worked at it my entire life. Everything I've ever done and every
Mm-hmm.
decision I've ever made is, for the betterment of my career of being a professional bronc rider. And so I think it's just kind of it's all the years of it, kind of coming together. And
Hmm.
um, this is probably the prime of my career, and um, I feel like I'll probably continue to get better. I put a lot of work into it, and there's most people don't know what goes into it, and so I think I got some really good years left here, and I plan to capitalize on them.
Well, I think that's a thing that's like often overlooked in rodeo is especially nowadays with how like you guys have turned into like legitimate athletes and you put a lot of work in outside of it and I think that's like I said it's really overlooked and you got to find ways especially in your case you got to find ways to win in different scenarios. It's not always going to be the same. Things are going to change, horses are going to change, environments are going to change, and I think being able to find that recipe is like so huge, becoming a multiple time champion.
Oh, for sure. You gotta kind of know the formula and know what works and how to get yourself there. And um, and on top of that, you gotta, have the talent and then also the work ethic that goes on top of that to make it all come together. And um, like I say, it's just I think there's a result of many years of, trying to, just better yourself every time. And you do that long enough, something good's gonna happen.
How big of a factor has your family been? I know you loosely touched on family and your wife Jane, your mom and dad, your brothers, like that's you guys all have been involved with rodeo for as long as I can remember and as long as most folks can remember. Like how important are they to the to success that you've seen in your career?
Yeah, they're huge. You have to have a support system that backs you, and it's really beneficial to have one that's been there and kind of knows what it takes, especially, in my dad, my family's been a part of rodeo on both sides of it. And so I just kind of grew up in it to to the point where, it's they know what it takes. My dad's been there and he knows how hard it is just to qualify for the NFR, He never won world titles or anything, but like he can relate to that side of
Mhm.
it. And then my wife Jane, she's been there since day one. She's helped me along with this dream and this career and whatever you want to call it. Just she's been just as much of it as a part of it as I have. And I really don't think I'd be able to do it without that support and those people in my life.
So I want to jump back to the 2023 season, kind of leading up to the CFR and the NFR. Talk a bit about some of the ups and downs, some of your favorite moments from last year, maybe favorite rides, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, not too many ups and downs. I come off a world title in 22 and started the winter really good. I made the short round at all them big building rodeos and placed well, won Tucson. So I had just a solid winter. Got I think I had 100,000 gathered up by the end of the winter, and just kind of carried it on. It just rolled on all year. It seemed like get big wins and put together a lot of good rides, and was really consistent. And yeah, things were it was really cool. I would say probably the highlight of the year would have to be going 92 and three quarters or whatever at Pinoca
Yeah,
in
very
the four
cool.
round. Pretty electric ride, pretty bit of a showstopper. That was
Yeah.
definitely one of my favorites.
Well, it was that was a cool like the whole day. Like Oren was 90 points. You put on a good ride, you're 92 points. Nick Tetz was the only guy to stay on, walked out of there with like 20 some $1,000. Like it was a cool day kind of across the board. And just like that setting in Pinoca, you can't beat that showdown round atmosphere.
No, it's cowboy rodeo. Huge arena. You got Dr. Lynn up there. It's good. Yeah, I like it.
Moving on to the CFR. So you're coming in, you won 3 consecutive titles in Red Deer. I kind of want to talk a bit about the drama that happened at CFR. The first round getting bucked off. I kind of surprised everybody in the building that night. I want to hear it from your perspective. Like, what was your feeling after that? Were you surprised by it? Were you obviously you probably weren't too stoked about it? Like, what was going through your head after bucking off that first horse?
Yeah, I wasn't really surprised by it. That horse has got a pretty good history of doing that to a lot of guys, a lot of really good guys, and
Mm-hmm.
so I knew it was coming. I felt like I had a pretty good um, game plan for her or whatever, and I didn't really think that that was going to happen to me. Not that I'm above that or anything. I'd seen her enough, I figured I had a pretty good go. And, yeah, no, she did to me what she does to everybody else and, bucked me off. So, I mean, it was not, it's just water off the duck's back at that point. You
Hmm.
don't have a time machine. You can't go back and
No.
change it. So it was kind of whatever it was, it was the second horse I think that bucked me off all year. So, um, I wasn't really mad for sure. I'd like her back and have that chance again, but that's just part of it. That's rodeo. You're not gonna ride them all.
Well, and then so moving into the rest of the week, you kind of locked it down, won a few rounds, kind of did the Zeke Thurston thing. So what did you like kind of change your approach at all after bucking off in that first round, or was it just like full send how it always is,
No,
like just going after it?
yeah, same everything. I was damn sure pissed coming back that next round. I was gonna make sure that they knew I was there, and had a really good little horse at Calgary's, and I think I won the round. And so yeah, right there, it all 180s for a guy. You can't ever just ride them low points. You get bucked off. That's gonna happen. I mean,
Hmm. Hmm.
Michael Jordan missed more game winning shots than anybody else, but he also scored a lot more too.
Hmm.
But they gave him the ball the most. So you get in those big situations. I mean, that stuff's gonna go that way. Especially when you're doing it at the highest level possible. So it'll always be there. It's not the first time it's ever happened to me. Dang sure won't be the last.
Well, I think that goes back to what we were talking about earlier
So
with like finding ways to win, right? Like you got to be able to adapt those scenarios. That's what you see with all the number one guys across all the sports, like the Connor McDavids and the Patrick Mahomes guys. Like they're finding ways through adversity, and I think that's kind of what set you apart from everybody. Like that's a good example of it right there because it was different than
yeah,
even from last year, right?
yeah, for sure. And you just can't let it beat you up. Like I said, you gotta be able to get in have a situation go that way and still be able to come back 12 hours 24 hours later and perform at your very best. You like I said, there's a lot of things you don't have control over in bronc riding, and darn sure you get bucked off like that. Would I like to have that one back, and is there something I could have maybe done different? For sure. you know give me that horse 10 more times. I don't think that's going to be the same result every time, but you can't let that eat you up. I mean, obviously, especially in a final situation, that's number one. You got five more to go, and there's a lot of money to be won.
So I'm sure that like winning championships never gets old, and that's all fun and stuff. But how would your fourth Canadian title stack up with the rest? Like it's probably cool to look back on all that how you the different ways and different times that you've won.
Yeah, they're all different. The way you won them or whatever, the last scenario or however it plays out, they're never the same. And this year was really cool just because like you said, I got bucked off, and then I come back and I think I won four of the six. Still
Yeah,
got me?
yep,
Yeah, yeah.
yep, yep.
Yeah, I think I won four of the six rounds. So yeah, I did buck off one, but then also kind of smoked them on the other side of it. So
Yeah.
that was really cool. And then I just had a brand new baby, and just to be able to go and kind of accomplish all that, with what we had going on at home and stuff was it was pretty cool. And then they all got to get in on the celebration
Yeah.
and the stuff at the end. So that was fun to be able to share that with the family.
I was gonna say it's got to be cool now that like your two older kids are kind of getting to the point where they know what's going on and who their dad is and what he does. Like it's got to be getting cool to share that with them.
Yeah, it is. It's really fun, especially you can kind of share, just the way you go about things with they get to see that, they get to see me live that way and thing. That's what I'm most excited about. But yeah, it's really funny because they know the horses, they know what's going on now, so
Yeah.
they know all the horses, all their favorite horses. They could tell you which one's which. And uh yeah, we were out at the NFR, and Cade Bruno had Cloudy Skies drawing that horse that bucked me off at the Canadian finals, and
Yeah.
Lucy was going through the list of horses, asking Jane which horses were which. And she said, well, Kate has cloudy skies. That's the horse that bucked my dad off, right? And Jane said, yeah, it is. She said, well, if my dad can't ride him, Kate definitely is not going to ride him.
That's awesome, man. So
Yeah,
good.
but it's pretty funny. I've had lots of success and lots of, excuse me, they've been there for all of it,
Hmm.
and through it all. And, I take them to every rodeo with me pretty much. So, for them to, they get to see it all, and so that when we don't go up on stage to get a buckle at the end of the round or something, they're almost confused. And why are we not going? Why isn't Dad going to get a buckle?
Yeah, they're holding you to the standard. That's awesome, man. I
Yeah,
love it. I
yeah,
love
it's
it.
pretty funny.
So another thing too, like going back to CFR, you've won all your titles in Red Deer. With the CFR moving back to Edmonton, are you excited for an opportunity to capture your fifth up there and just competing back in Edmonton, the CFR?
Yeah, I think it'll be really cool. I'm not one of them guys that's opposed to change. I think it's a lot of times it's for the better, and I think it'll be a really cool venue to ride in. And yeah, I'm excited to see what they have in store for us up there.
I think with like the way that the CFR is going and the level of competition and just how everything's working out, I think it's going to be a really good fit in Edmonton, especially like just competition quality wise. And you have like that world
Hmm.
class venue. It's going to be a really cool mix and to see how, like you said, how it all plays out. It's gonna be fun.
I think so too. Yeah.
So let's move on to Vegas. Similar to Red Deer, you picked up your fourth world title. Let's go over kind of the 10 days. How are you feeling heading into the finals? It was kind of a similar situation in 2022, eh? Like you were kind of in the top five, but not super close to the first place spot. But yeah, you got off, hit the ground running in round one, picking up the win.
Yeah, yeah. So it was good. I felt really good going down there. Was confident. I got on a practice horse, courtesy of Calgary Stampede there in Olds before we went down there. A few of us got on, and so yeah, I was just feeling crisp. And I, like you said, I split that first round, and I think I was about a round behind Stetson in the world standings from number one. So me and Cade split that first round, and that jumped us both up there. And then after that, it was just kind of a ping pong seesaw battle between
Mm-hmm.
me, Cade, and Sage for the first three quarters. I got some round wins, split, couple, whatever. Just went through the week and made some good rides. Had a couple horses that I didn't place on, just a little out of the money, but still, solid scores.
Mm-hmm.
83, 84, which is important in the average. And so yeah, I drew pretty good, but I darn sure had some harder ones, some trickier ones and stuff. But yeah, I felt like I rode really well out there, and um, just kind of went and did my deal. And it come down to the last round, and it by that point it had I won round nine, I think, which was my fourth go around win of the week. And so that kind of gave me a little bit of breathing room on Sage at the end there to where basically I just kind of had to get a score,
Mm-hmm.
and place deep in the average, like I was gonna either win it or win second. And it was mine to lose kind of deal at that time. And I actually had Dandy Delight, the horse I had in
Yeah,
Pinoka.
yeah.
And yeah, she kind of he was a little off that day, that they were asking a lot of a fairly young horse, that they
Yeah,
had
for
me in the
sure.
back, and I couldn't get loaded until it was pretty much my turn. And there's 25 camera guys on him and people everywhere, and they're rushing you. So he didn't really like it, didn't want to stand great in the chute. And then he kind of had a couple funny little hop skip jumps in there. And, we got sat down and finished him off. I placed in the round and was 86 and a half or something, but
Mm-hmm.
that was enough to do it again.
So, and you mentioned a lot of Calgary Stampede and Canadian horses. I think you drew like nearly half your horses were Canadian horses. How cool is that to be able to compete on our great four-legged buckers from up here down in somewhere like Las Vegas?
Yeah, it's so awesome, man. That's when you make a living, with these horses, you kind of you kind of form a relationship, or you got a soft spot in your heart
Mm-hmm.
for them, because that's how you make your bread and butter. And they're amazing animals. And then to to be able to do it on Canadian bucking horses makes it even better. Just
Yeah.
and there's a reason that a guy can draw half your horses be Canadian, is because Canada produces the best bucking horses. We have the best programs, and the most consistent programs where guys consistently produce great bucking horses all the time. And So that's a big feather in Canada's hat. I would say, just the quality of stock that they show up with down there is bar none, and I would say that's why Canada has such great bronc riders. To just the two go hand in hand.
Yeah, that was one of the cool things that was talked about in that feature by the Cowboy Channel is how like kind of your generation of guys and then kind of the younger group, you guys have grown up with these horses. You've seen them from when they were colts to
Mm-hmm.
now when they're on the world's greatest stage. Which I think is such a neat advantage or a neat way to like progress your career is like being able to grow up with the stock you're competing on.
Oh, it's very cool. That's why I say like you kind of get a special place in your heart for them. But like for example, there's you know say like Weekend Departure was there, and I got on that horse in Hand Hills in 2000 and maybe 12 or something in the novice, and she was pretty green and I was really green, and you know that we're both at they're winning rounds on her at the NFR. It's that's just pretty cool.
Yeah, it speaks to, like you said, the great bucking programs we have up here, and on that other side of it, you have Tyler Craft picking up for the first time at the NFR. Talk a bit about that and how cool it was to have a guy you're very familiar with you in the arena.
Yeah, super cool. Just like I said, Canada was just very well represented. Crafty, he got to pick up, which is a huge honor. To be able to go pick up the biggest rodeo in the world, and then on top of that, to be the Calgary Stampede ranch manager and have 20, I think they had 22 or something
Mm-hmm.
horses selected to be down there. So that's just really impressive. And he his horses, in the picking up his horses, they really stood out, and it was just a great showing for Canada, I would say. Just very well rounded, and couldn't be prouder.
So I want to talk about some of the rides. Well, the ride that you made in round five on X9 Explosive Skies, that was as soon as everybody saw your name by that horse in the draw, we knew there was going to be electricity one way or another. What's going through your mind on that day when you know you have that horse as you lead up to the moment, and then as you're making the ride? What's kind of walk us through that whole process?
Yeah, that son of a gun makes you nervous. That's by far that's the rankest horse I've ever been on. I personally think that's the rankest horse to ever walk the earth so far. But that just an incredible animal, and you draw a horse like that, it's not going to go your way every time, and um, there's really no game plan other than you have to get a good spur out, and then it's all the same basics and fundamentals. It's just cranked up a couple notches on her because it happens so fast, and she's so strong and powerful.
Is there a moment in those rides that you say getting that strong mark out and kind of like you can even see it on the video, like you kind of weather that storm and then you get tapped off? Is that kind of the same for most of the rides you make? You kind of have to get through those first couple jumps where you're okay, like I got this dialed in, like there's no throwing you off, or how does it work for you?
Yeah, they're all different, like your average, or like most of the horses we would get on, like and you'd spur them out, and you can kind of feel, the first couple jumps, and you're off, and the ride's on. But there are, it kind of just depends on what the horses
Mm-hmm.
do. But like there would be like a horse like yesterday's delivery or a wild cherry or an explosive skies, get smart horses like that when you nod, they're exploding out of the bucking
Mm-hmm.
chute, either kicking over the back of the chutes or kicking the top rail or raring 20 feet into the arena. Those are the horses that you're gonna, it could be a little hairy for a second right there. And yeah, but you gotta go with the odds, because I mean the result's the same if you reach up there and kind of pantyhose a spur out at one. It's and you miss them out, you might as well have spurred them out and got bucked off, because it's still a zero, right? And so I always go with rolling the odds, and it gets me in trouble sometimes. It causes me to get bucked off, but you can't get a score if you don't get them spurred out. So that's usually where I
That's
go
a good way to put
start
it
with
though.
anyway.
Yeah, it's a good point. Like it's a good point. Like you may as well go at him and go for the score because either way you're going to be zero. So it's you may as well
Hmm.
put it all out there rather than not at all. So going back to the
And if
ride,
you do get her spurred out and then make a ride on her, you get to be a 91 or a
yeah,
93 or a
hell
90. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah, for sure,
So
man. That's how it goes. And so going back to that ride, where would you rank it in like the best rides of your career?
On explosive
Yeah,
skies
yeah, in
there,
round 5 there when
I
you won
would
around.
I would say that's probably one of my very best rides I've ever made. Um, that horse just bucked so hard. I would say that's probably my best ride in that arena, and one of my very best rides ever.
Yeah, it was electric, man. It's cool because we were watching on TV, but you could just hear like through the TV the crowd noise, how like the roof blew off the place when it went down. Like that was had to be such a cool moment for you being in the arena during that time.
Yeah, it was really cool. I didn't know if I was gonna make the whistle or not, and she threw me off. I hit the dirt, and yeah, half the arena standing up there going nuts. It was that's pretty cool. Those are the moments that you dream of, and um, like I said, that's probably the very best ride I've made in that arena.
Well, and talking about some of the other guys competing, like you mentioned Sage and Cade and all them boys, and what was it like competing, like battling it out for that title throughout the week? Like you guys are obviously all like really close. Like it's kind of a brotherhood with the Saddle Bronc Riders. So how do you guys navigate the like, hey, I'm cheering for you, know what you did good, but I also want to beat your ass the whole time.
Yeah, everybody, it's all the same. They would get us to go do interviews together and stuff, and they're like, "You're number one and you're number two," but you're such good buddies, that's why they'd have us go to do them together and stuff. Nobody, I mean, it's always lighthearted.
Mhm.
You want to do well, but you want your friends to do just as well, and at the end of the day, it's bronc riding, and all you can control is what you can do on the horse that you have drawn, and if you do that, I mean, whether that's enough or not, that's all you can do. So everybody keeps it pretty light and pretty fun.
Yeah, you definitely can see it, like just the way you guys all interact with each other, kind of behind the shoots. What was it like not having Stetson in the fold this year? I know it was kind of a tough blow, kind of across the whole board for everybody not having him there competing, and must have been different for you guys too, not having him in the bronc riding with you guys for the 10 days.
Yeah, I mean, we still got Stetson. He was in the locker room every night and joking and hanging out with us and stuff. But that's a bummer, man. You
Mm-hmm.
hate to see that for anybody. That sucks so bad. You worked really hard to get there, and especially a guy like him, he double times it, and to be as talented as he is, goes in leading the bull riding and leading the bronc riding. That's insane. And then
Yeah.
not to get a chance to be able to finish it
Mm-hmm.
off, that sucks. But I'm sure that he's a talented little fart, and he's tough. He'll be back. He'll be back.
How do you manage the kind of the pressure and navigate all the noise and everything going on at some place like Vegas? So you guys are doing autograph signings and appearances and meeting people and kind of you're I'm sure your days are chock full of activities before you have to go and compete. So how do you, which is I think it's different than any other pro sport where you look at a hockey player, they're going for a nap, 2 or 3 hour nap like before the game and hanging out,
Yeah,
and they roll up to the rink and take it easy. Whereas you guys, like, it's so because you got to maintain your personal brand and sell yourselves, and but so you got to kind of juggle a lot of things. How do you manage that and then also being able to compete at your best over 10 days in Vegas?
yeah. You just do your best. There's obligations that you have to go do. And um, but not every day is like that.
Mhm.
Some days you might have three or four, signings and appearances and things, and you might be just right slammed. And other days you might have one, but it's just part of it, I guess. It's sometimes it's not a guy's favorite thing to do, but you still go do them and put a smile on your face. There's a lot worse things you could be doing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true for sure. So I want to ask the same thing I did about your Canadian titles. You've won 4 world titles now. You've tied Pete Knight for the most Saddle Bronc riding world titles won by a Canadian, which is very, very cool. So how does this one rank up there with it? And obviously like we know being able to share with your family is a big part of it. And yeah, it's a cool thing to be in the company that you're in now.
Yeah, just super cool. It ranks up there just looks like the rest of them. They're all pretty special. Um, this one was probably, I would say, in 16 I kind of come from behind. Nobody really expected me to win it,
Yeah.
and I won it. 19 I kind of had it was kind of mine to lose and led it all the way from the first round on. They couldn't catch me after the ninth round, so that one was different than where 22 I come from so far back, and um, that was, but to win 4 of them, that's getting up there. That's getting to be quite a few. That's pretty
Yeah.
that's pretty special. Um, yeah, just it was cool, and that was probably one of the toughest. That was a good battle, just a good
Mm-hmm.
race, and like I said, it could have been two, three, four guys all through the week there, and come down to the end, and it was up to two or three guys for sure. And so yeah, it was tight, and it was a good bronc riding, and it was yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So how do you get all your like saddles and buckles home from the finals? That's I've always wondered that. Like it's
I just
because you got
load them up
two
in there.
saddles, four buckles,
Yeah,
or have like more than four buckles, I guess, with all your round
yeah,
bits. But
boxes of whiskey and all
oh,
sorts
okay,
of
all
stuff.
sorts. Your
Yeah,
trophy room's gonna be
yeah,
getting pretty full. You might have to do it, put an addition on, eh?
it's getting full. Yeah, yeah. Build a new house. I still don't know if I have enough room for
You have to
all
read
this stuff. That's what
read
I
through the
said.
plans.
Yeah, I was thinking somebody like an Irvine's or a Jones Boys or something needs to make a little display like they do with Trevor's at the NRS. Maybe have a
Oh,
little make a little display and put it all in
yeah.
there, and then people
Just
could see it.
just do it at the Big Valley
Nobody's gonna.
Bar.
Not very many people are gonna see it at my house. They're not. Nobody's gonna see it at the Big Valley Bar.
Oh man, that's good. So moving into 2024, it's obviously shaping up to be, I'm sure, another big busy season for you heading down the road. Are you kind of changing thing? Are you gonna change anything up, or are you the same approach to the last few years, just rodeo and win and
Yeah, man,
take her down the
it's
road?
all the same. Yeah, yeah. We go draw some good horses and make some good rides and put in another full year of it. Hopefully, we'll be having the same conversation 365 from now.
Has there been has anybody won like three in a row? Is that I'm sure there has been. I have to like check on my stats, but would that would
Maybe
be
Dan.
yeah, I think
Dan.
so.
I bet Dan went three in a row.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool to kind of knock on that door because like after winning, you've won three Canadian titles in a row. You've won three Calgary Stampedes. You've won all this kind of thing. Like it'd be cool to add kind of another one into the books that way.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, two in a row is pretty wild. Yeah, three in a row that'd be cool.
be pretty cool for sure. Cool, man. Well, so what's the schedule like over the next few weeks? Like Denver's coming up, Fort Worth, all the big ones. How are you
Yeah,
gonna
so
be? Are you hitting the road right away?
I didn't enter Denver. I'm gonna go to this kind of an invitational type deal in San Diego. They're gonna have here.
Oh, at the baseball diamond, hey?
Yes, sir. Yeah, yeah, at the ballpark
Nice.
there. So
That's gonna be
that'll be
cool.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I could go check that out, see what it's all about. Then I'm in Fort Worth the 18th to the 20th. Kick that off. So yeah, we'll go there, and then after that'll be San Antonio, and
Right on.
yeah, starts all over again.
So looking back on last year, you won just over $450,000, which puts you like knocking on the door of 2.5 million on your career. Talk a bit about how that money's changed things for you and your family, and just how motivating it is to be able to win that much money in a season, like as a professional rodeo athlete.
Yeah, it's that's huge. Like a guy, you can make a really good living, or even get halfway rich riding bucking horses. They aren't sure make enough money to set yourself up, and so
Mm-hmm.
that's been huge for me. Like I said, we're building a house, and that's pretty just a big blessing for somebody like I'm 29 years old and building a house that I'm probably going to live in for the rest of my life. So that's pretty cool, and I wouldn't be able to do that, with if it wasn't for rodeo. And so yeah, I mean everything we got come from bronc riding, and it's really really gotten good. That's especially since I've been going. All these big rodeos counting and
Mm-hmm.
purses that they have up now, so it's really just, I mean, a guy can set himself up and just kind of get things rolling, I guess, while you're young, because you have a shelf life when you make
Yeah.
your living with your body, right? You only get so many years before it just doesn't work anymore. So it's gotten rodeo's gotten so good, and I just think it's going to continue to get better and better. Vegas signed a new contract for 2025, and um, kind of sounds by the end of that deal, it's going to be, money's going to be really big. Rounds will be paying 60,000,
Wow.
average paying 200,000. So that's pretty exciting to hear.
But we're probably not far from seeing somebody win $1 million in a year in a single event. Like it's probably like we're probably only a handful of years away from something like that,
Well,
which
yeah, I
is
mean,
probably
we got
unthinkable for some people.
guys getting halfway there right now, so
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's really gotten good. You go out to Vegas and win 236,000, for for me, that's a lot of money. So
That's well, you convert it to Canadian, it's like 500,000. That's big time
yeah,
money. Big.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So one thing I wanted to ask you, you've won like pretty much every major rodeo and title there is to win in your career. Is there one that's kind of gotten away from you throughout your career that you want to add to the trophy room in the new house this
Yeah.
year?
I just got asked this earlier today, but yeah, I got a few on my bucket list. Probably I would say Pendleton is probably top of the list. I'd love to win Pendleton. I've come
Mm-hmm.
really close quite a few times, but and obviously like San Antone is got a just a real coveted buckle too. It's really pretty and it's just a ranked short round. I've same thing. I've come really close to winning that one once, but I just haven't quite done it. But yeah, there's a few on my hit list for sure that I'd like to get. Maybe a Cheyenne, Fort Worth.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is some good ones.
Yeah.
Right on. So kind of before we kind of wrap things up here, I want to talk about we talked a bit about records and stuff, and there's so many stats and everything a person can follow. But do you pay attention to stuff like that? Or is there anything specifically you're chasing, or you just kind of take it as it comes?
Yeah, just rolling with it, seeing what I can win.
Going into this year, who are some of the up and coming Canadian guys, or who's your dark horse in the? Because it's becoming like a theme now where we have 4 to 5, 6. We could even have probably 7 or 8 Canadians in the Bronc riding at the NFR. Who would you say is your like dark horse or kind of the guy to watch throughout 2024 to make it this year?
To make it, like somebody that's probably never been before.
Yeah, like it's one of their first times, or some of these up like you got guys like Q Taylor and that kind of the younger
Hmm.
generation coming back, or
Yeah,
even
for
even a
sure.
comeback too, like Logan or Colby too. Like they could be whatever you think.
Yeah, and them guys are gonna come back and do really good. I look for them to have good years and Q too. You know, he got a taste of it last year and come really close and to ride as well as he did and didn't get to go. That's tough, but that's part of it. So he's gonna be hungry and yeah, Logan, Colby, they'll all be back. Dawson, Leighton, everybody. So I would say if you could get him to go a full season and put in a good hard go at it, Lucas Moxa could probably.
Ooh,
I really think Lucas Moxa
yeah,
could make the finals and do well.
that's a good one, man.
He's solid. He's really consistent. He's rode really good at the Canadian finals the last 3 years.
Hmm.
Um, he
He's
looks pretty good on most type of horses.
he seems like that one of those guys who's kind of like knocking on the door of like taking that next step. Like a guy, even like Dawson Dom too. He had a great season in Canada. Made
Dom,
some,
same
yeah,
way. Yeah, Dawson Dom too. Both them guys, if they would go, they could. Like then we could almost get 10 of us there.
oh man, that'd be pretty cool. And it's crazy to say like it's not a far out like thought or chance of it happening. It's
That
pretty
ain't
cool.
unrealistic. No.
No, exactly. Yeah. Like there's so many good guys. And like we talked about before, having the amount of great horses to up in Canada for these guys to kind of grow up with. There's a reason why there's so many great Canadian bronc riders right now.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you get all them good horses, and then you get guys like the guys I've been going with that are all making it. And
Mm-hmm.
here we are 10 years later. Well, there's been quite a few kids watch us, go through that, and they're all growing up now, and they're going, man, we got the same opportunities that these boys had. And so I think bronc riding in Canada is going to be pretty strong for a while. And there's more guys. That group of novice kids that are coming up,
Yeah.
there's some guys in there that are pretty gritty and that are going to go places. So it's the future looks pretty good.
What does it mean to you to be one of those guys to kind of influence that next generation and being like, you're a young guy yourself too, right? You're still in the prime of your career and you accomplish a lot, but you're kind of leading the pack when it comes to the influence of those bronc riders. What's it mean to you?
Like Canada and Alberta, just in general, has kind of had a legacy of having great bronc riders, and so to kind of carry that on, and then in a way, you kind of you hold right now we're kind of holding the torch, I guess you could say, and one day we'll pass it on to the next group, and so it's really cool to be able to kind of carry that torch and hopefully do everybody proud while you got it. And like you said, I used to be the young guy, and everybody was wondering why I didn't have to pay my dues and everything. And now I'm the more of the veteran of the group, and all the young kids come up and ask me for advice and what to do. So it's kind of just the changing of the tides. But yeah, it's just really cool to be able to represent, Canada, and just the great Canadian bronc riders that we do have, and that Canada's known for. It's cool to represent that as well.
Well, I know we're really proud to have you representing us, Zeke, and I just want to thank you again for taking the time to chat with me today and joining us on the short round. It was sure was a heck of a lot of fun to watch you compete last year and take home that Canadian title and world title.
Thank you. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you for having me on. It's yeah, this was fun.
Right on, buddy. Well, we'll let you go and we'll wish you all the best in 2024 and we'll see you down the road.
You bet. Sounds good. Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Thanks, Zeke.
All right. You bet. Adios.
Thanks again to Zeke for joining me on this week's show. It was fun to catch up, and we are pumped to watch him to hit the trail again this year. So all the best to Zeke in 2024. Before I wrap things up, I just want to remind you all that you can catch the upcoming winter rodeo action on the Cowboy Channel, so you'll never, ever miss a moment. The National Stock Show and Rodeo kicks off next week in Denver. And did you know that Canadians Ben Anderson and Dusty LaValle hold arena records in their respective events at Denver? Pretty sick. Ben was 90 points in the Saddle Bronc riding back in 2020, and Dusty was 91 points in the bareback riding in 2008. Super exciting stuff for those guys. So we'll see if any new records will be broken in Denver. Anyway, that's going to do it for episode 4 of the short round. Once again, I am your host, Wacey Anderson. Be sure to stay up to date with everything Pro Rodeo Canada on our website, rodeocanada.com, and on our social media pages at Pro Rodeo Canada Official on Instagram and the Canadian Professional Rodeo Association on Facebook. Thanks once again for listening, and we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.